hues at the bottom.
Now, the best part.
Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you very much, Chef.
Go for
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
Inspiring travel on the BBC.
Live from London, this is BBC News. Anti-racism protests have taken to England's streets, quelling fears of another night of anti-immigration riots. Catalan separatist Carles Puigdemont returns to Barcelona despite facing an arrest warrant. Mohamed Yunus arrives in Bangladesh to lead a caretaker government following weeks of deadly turmoil in the country. 3 Taylor Swift concerts in Vienna are cancelled after 2 men arrested on suspicion of planning an attack. And this is having a few problems, as you can see there with the pictures. That's Carles Puigdemont there returning to Spain, and that's despite facing an arrest warrant. Well, let's cross live now to Stormont to show you those pictures that we're getting. The Assembly there has been recalled from the summer recess due to the recent violence in the streets, and the executive ministers have been meeting this morning ahead of that recall, which is to start at midday. The First and Deputy First Ministers have said that their joint priority is to face down racism and intimidation, and we're going to have a news conference shortly, and we'll bring you that just as soon as it starts. Now, thousands of anti-racism protesters have rallied in cities and towns across England after a week of anti-immigrant rioting. Britain's most senior police officer has praised the show of unity and said fears of extreme right violence had abated. Police had been prepared for further violence, but there was no sign of any disorder on the scale of recent days. The marches were mostly peaceful, and the government says it cautiously welcomed last night's scenes. Well, police units had been mobilised on Wednesday evening from Newcastle to Birmingham, Liverpool to Brighton, Sheffield to London. The week of violent unrest was sparked by misinformation that spread online following the fatal stabbing of 3 girls in Southport just over a week ago. The chair of the Police Federation, which represents rank-and-file police officers in England and Wales, says it's too early to say if the run of violent protests is over. It's estimated more than 100 police officers have been injured in the disorder over the last week. This report is from our correspondent Joe Inwood.
The city had been braced for trouble